Welcome to season 2 of the ECC. I'm Jez, and I'm going to quickly talk through what this stream is about for anyone who's new to the league and for returning people, so you have a general idea of how this is going to go. So, first, I'm going to pass over to Havoc, who's going to talk about the league format and the divisions for this season. Following that, he's going to do predictions for the league table and for the fixtures this week with Wolf. After that, we've got a video we'd like to show you to give you an idea what you can expect when playing in this league, and we've got a special announcement after that to end the stream.
Yep, very much so. So, this season, biggest season yet, 32 teams, 4 divisions, 8 teams in each division here. You got the Champions Division, Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. So, if you're new here and don't understand really the layout of how we play, you kind of set a time with your opposition whenever you want within the week, or supposedly within that week if you can. The league game will be played as a best of 5 to determine the winner. No draws, just a straight out winner of who wins the games in the best of 5. That will then be placed onto the league standings, and I can't really confirm here, but Jez, is it the top so many going into playoffs again? Are we going to have a playoff system like we did last season? Or is it going to be a new kind of format?
I'll get in for Jez here. Hi, I'm Wolf. To answer your question there, I presume we'll have a similar system as we have for the previous season, and I believe as last it was top 4.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Due to there being 8 teams for every every division, it'll be the top 4 fighting for the playoff and potentially moving up a division, and then the bottom 2 as we did it last season.
Yeah, so that's how it'll work out, and then there'll be the best of 7 for the playoffs again, I believe, if that does happen. So that's just really the layout of this season, the best of 5s, really what you need to know about how each game is going to be played, and the layout of that. So we've got predictions and the teams to go through, along with this week's predictions as well. So, should we start going through that?
Indeed.
Okay, we'll start in the Champions Division. Do you want to do the league standings first, where you think people will finish?
Ooh, hang on
through.
Not knowing much about the teams,
yeah,
it's quite difficult to pinpoint an exact league standing. I mean, we do have the system where we have the teams laid out through their MMR. So currently for Champions Division, it's unrivaled, top first place being highest MMR. Then Infinity GG, Velocity 9, and Furio Ephemeral.
Ephemeral, there we go.
That's going to be a great team to cast. And their academy just below them. Then One Touch Aqua and AUC Legends, followed by Bungalow Boys.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Champions Division, there's such a range of teams. You've got the high NGC teams, along with Champ 3 level, maybe low. So obviously Bungalow Boys being down there as well. So you can expect a lot of high scoring games, but there may be a lot of surprises as well.
I mean, yes, indeed. Looking at AUC, just as a quick, trying to get my predictions sorted. Going back to last season, the only 2 teams that you know from this Champions Division is AUC Legends and Bungalow Boys.
Yeah.
Both who played very well. Bungalow Boys, weren't they top seed?
They were undefeated in league play, but slipped in the playoffs.
And sorry. And AUC Legends were one of the lower seeds, I believe.
Yeah, they surprised really everyone there, didn't they? I think, they were saying themselves that they were the underdog's story to win the entire playoffs in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with every division. If you look at every division that we'll be going through soon, there'll be a lot of underdogs that have surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And we're probably expecting a lot of that this season as well, because in a league system play best of 5, there's no room for error, and you don't have warm-up sense like you do in a tournament. You can have an easier team at the beginning and work your way into the final. But here you're straight in with a high level opposition, or a equal level opposition to you, really. And you've got to be on it from the off, so it will be a sense of preparation, really.
Indeed. I mean, do you want to start with your predictions for Champions Division first?
I mean, looking at the MMR, Unrivaled look the certain candidates to win. Really, they're 40, 35 MMR above. I mean, that doesn't sound like much, but it can prove a lot in the way or the style that they play. And then up there is definitely going to be Infinity GG, Velocity 9, and Ephemeral. They're the top 4 by far in Division this season from the stats I have, the MMR.
Yeah.
And then at the other end, it may be the 2 promoted teams again. Bungalow Boys and AC Legends struggling. Ephemeral not far ahead, though, of these two.
I understand what you're saying come from there, yeah.
But, the 2 at the bottom have only had practice in Division 1 side, while the others would have had practice against high-level opposition a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it'll be a...
looking at for me, I've managed to have a look at a few games. I've managed to see Velocity 9 and Ephemeral Esports already play each other in a scrim.
Okay.
And it was quite enjoyable to watch. And they both played quite well. But other than that, I haven't seen their Ephemeral Academy, One Touch Aqua, Infinity GG, all Unrivaled play at all.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I mean, going through the fact of MMR and what I've seen currently, I've gone for Velocity 9 first, because they played very well against Ephemeral Esports. And then I've got Infinity GG, then Unrivaled.
Okay.
Again, I don't know much about them, so I've just had to put them in the top 4, obviously, given the MMR. I mean, just out of the fact of how well AUC Legends had played in the playoffs last season, I'd put them, I can't count 4th.
Okay.
And just below them, Bungalow Boys, because again, those are the 2 teams I've seen play compared to the rest. Ephemeral Esports just underneath them, and then their Academy, and then One Touch Aqua.
Okay.
Again, this is just from what I've seen, so I can't really give a good, accurate judgment, nor can anyone really.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. We've only seen 2 teams play in the division. And in that case, I've seen... Well, actually, to start off, what was the scoreline between Velocity 9 and Ephemeral? Do you remember what kind of took place in the game?
It was quite high scoring. It was a bit back and forth. I don't remember how many games were played. I think we got it to I think they played a best of 7 or a best of 9. It was something ridiculous. It was just all for fun. And I can't remember. I remember Velocity 9 definitely winning that. That's why I've put them higher up.
Yeah.
But Ephemeral Esports weren't that far behind. They did well in their defense and etc.
Okay.
But overall, they were quite a strong team.
Yeah, and you can tell that the teams at the top are obviously going to have played with each other a lot and are going to be really conjoined as a team compared to particularly maybe those at the bottom, especially if things start going wrong. There's going to be a chance for lack of almost, I can't think of the word, but they're not going to play as well later on if they keep getting battered early on in the league as well.
There'll be a lack of motivation for them, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, before we go on to Division 1, shall we go for our predictions for the first set of games in the Champions Division?
If I can try and get that up quick, I will.
Just need to find that.
Yeah, do you want to start yours?
Well, first fixture is Unrivaled versus Bungalow Boys, and as a player of Bungalow Boys, I'm pretty terrified now looking at that MMR. I mean, I've got to say, from the difference of MMR, it's probably going to be a 3-0. Because it's just the speed that they're going to be playing at is going to be much higher than Bungalow Boys. They've got the teamwork to be up there. And they're going to be used to playing pro-level games. Not often, but a lot of the time they will be. So
Yeah,
if they can prove themselves against high level players, then it should be easy enough against a low level team in Champions Division.
yeah, agreed. So, what's your overall prediction for that Unrivaled
Th-
versus Bungalow?
3-0 to Unrivaled.
I mean, I'd have to go with something similar. I mean, Unrivaled will definitely win in my eyes, as Bungalow Boys haven't really seen any competition such as high Grand Champ levels. So I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on a 3-0 there against Unrivaled and Bungalow Boys.
Yeah. And then we have, so after that, we've got, let's find this again, Infinity versus AUC Legends.
Yes. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Let's have a look at this. It's another top of the table versus bottom area clash in terms of MMR again. You know, it's quite
That's how the
harsh for first game.
for every division will go.
Hmm.
So
I mean-
it'll be very difficult to motivate yourself in your first week because you're against. Sorry, if you're one of the lower teams, you'll be put up against the higher one straight away. So it'll be
Okay.
definitely. Yeah, so Infinity GG and AUC Legends both. Well, one team I've seen, the other not at all. Again, just looking at the MMR, I want to say like a 3-1, maybe a 3-2, because AUC Legends had surprised everyone last season. Granted, the fact that they were in a different division completely.
Hmm.
I think it'd be like a 3-1 or a 3-2.
Okay. For me, it's the question of can AUC Legends do it 2 times in a row with much better opponents? It's
Yeah.
kind of that idea that they've proven themselves in a high division for their MMR of what we thought, but you know this is a hugely different level. So I'm not sure if they can handle it because they can have their good times and they play really really well together. But if they are not on their day, they're not on their day, and it's kind of
Yeah.
about that for them. You know, do they have the consistency this season to be not getting 3-0'd by teams, instead getting maybe 3-2'd and having a chance to get back at one of them? So
Yeah, I mean, that also comes down to if the opposing team are ready.
yeah,
If the opposing team go, okay, look at this, our first matchup. It's quite an easy team. We'll just relax a bit. And if they don't perform and pressure themselves straight off, they're going to be in quite a difficult position and they're going to have to really focus and try. Otherwise, they're just not going to be able to properly succeed.
yeah.
So
So
it works both.
for me, kind of, I think Infinity, like you said, may take it 3-1.
Yeah. I mean, swiftly moving on to that. Velocity 9 versus One Touch Aqua. Ooh, I mean, just of what I've seen. I mean, I can't say anything for One Touch Aqua because I haven't seen anything from them. But Velocity 9 really played quite well against 4th seed. So just at the fact that One Touch Aqua is 5th or 6th, no 6th seed. Sorry. I'm gonna have to go for a 3-1, maybe a 3-0. It's
Ye-
quite rough, but again, I don't know much for the other opposing team.
Yeah, same. I feel like it's probably going to be a 3-0, I want to say. You know, One Touch Aqua are at the bottom half. You know, they've got a huge gap separating them and the top 4.
Yeah,
So, you know, it could be deceiving the way that the MMR's laid out if you took away
yeah,
the MMR
especially
itself.
yeah. I mean, especially compared to like the last season, proven by a lot of divisions. A lot of the lower MMR teams played very well compared to what from what people assumed.
Yeah.
So it's just you can never truly make sure you can't truly guess the proper prediction because One Touch Aqua could be a very impressive team, but we just haven't obviously seen much from them.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of linking that to last season, I know it's not about this division, but Division 3, we saw the whole league pretty much being on the same amount of points at the end.
Yeah,
Like, showing
definitely.
how
Every
together
team-
it is.
Yeah, the lower teams that no one expected for, or were saying were the underdogs, really came through towards the end of the season. I think they just got better and better, in my opinion, playing against these slightly higher ranked teams.
Oh,
Just put it in the win.
yeah.
I mean, looking at this next matchup for the Champions Division, two teams that are, quite frankly, I would say they're brothers because Ephemeral Esports and then their academy.
Yeah, definitely
The
a good
fact
first matchup.
especially the fact that they're 4th and 5th seed. It just shows how close these two teams are. Their academy not being far behind their main team.
Mm.
So I want to bring this to a 3-2 for esports, Ephemeral Esports.
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like, you know, as they're the first team, you'd expect them to be coming through with the victory, and for the first team to lose in this kind of clash, it would be almost embarrassing for them, I want to say. You know, I'm not taking it against the academy to not win, but, you know, they're meant to be the lower team of the two in terms
Yeah,
of the layout of their org.
indeed.
So I'm going for like a 3-1 again. You know, I think a lot of the games in the first set of fixtures, due to the opposition opposition part of the table, will be quite high scoring and high differences within the matches.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked a fair bit about Champions Division. Why don't we move on to Division 1?
Yep, go for it. So we've got, let's get this up again.
We have Irrelevant Esports, Shadowstalker Esports. This is placed in from first to last. Synergy White, the Flying Rockets, Cataclysm Esports, Events Esports, Iridium, and Phoenix Inferno. Or, I believe, I can't remember what their new team name will be.
Oh, it's is it? Oh, I can't think of what it's called now.
I can't. I'll try and get this up. Do you want to just give your predictions?
Yep. Sure. So, I mean, it's kind of laid out in the way we would expect it to be because of MMR.
Yeah.
But Avents and Phoenix Inferno came like up flying really from Division 2, I believe they both came up. And
Yeah.
they looked so strong towards the end of the season, you know, no one seemed to have a chance against them, Events especially. You know, they came through
Indeed.
4-0 in the final, I believe, as well, to get up. So I feel like they're going to go higher than we have seeded them. Maybe 3rd or 4th. But apart from that, I kind of feel it will be the same layout. So Irrelevant. I might guess Synergy to be above Shadowstalkers, and then Avents Cataclysmy, I think that's how you pronounce it. Cataclysm. There we go, Cataclysm. Iridium, then Phoenix Inferno. Or Division 1.
A quick side note: Phoenix Inferno's new org is Luxor, or Luxor, so Luxor Esports. But okay, I see where you're coming from there with that layout. It's an interesting one. Well, so is this whole division because of Events and Luxor Esports. Because like you said, Division 2, these two came flying up. So this will be interesting, especially as Events is only 6th in the table, so they could definitely challenge and potentially even get in the top 4. But going off of what I've seen again, Shadowstalker Esports I'm putting first, because although they were top 4, wasn't it, last season? They were still top 4 because they made it to playoffs. Can't remember if it was 3rd or 4th they made.
Can I have a quick look?
Yeah. And then I've got Synergy White, the Flying Rockets, and then Irrelevant Esports. Again, I don't know much about these teams, so I can't say much. Then I've got Cataclysm, Iridium, Events Esports, and Luxor Esports. I mean, they did come up quite high. Well, they did extremely well last division, but this might be a completely different pace they're not used to, so it might have quite an impact on how they play or how they have to play.
Yeah. And definitely the upcoming teams are going to have to play a lot differently to how they did in Division 2. Because I think the biggest gap really was Division 1 to Division 2 rather than Division 2 to Division 3 last season.
Yeah.
And the teams coming up from Div 2 are definitely going to have to show themselves in the higher division to really get through and try and get out of the relegation zone spot here.
Yeah. I mean, this first week looks a little bit interesting for Division 1. Should we jump straight into it?
Yep, sure thing. Just need
I
to...
mean, yeah, I'll let you
So,
set it off.
relevant esports versus Phoenix Inferno. So, huge MMR difference again. You know, first versus last seed. And
Yeah.
Phoenix Inferno just coming up. They're going to have the confidence, especially to beat a near Grand Champ team being in Division 1. And I think they're going to find it really difficult, you know, especially in threes. The difference between a Champ 3 team and a Champ 2 team is big enough, let alone a Champ 3 and a Champ 1.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's the same with every rank.
yeah.
But, yeah, what are your, like, how do you think that first week's going to go for Luxor Esports?
I think, you know, it's going to be a 3-0 loss for them. It's just, I can't really tell, you know, from what we can see, they look like the pure underdogs here, and that they really don't stand too much of a chance, but if they play with the right mentality and the right pace to counter the Champ 3 team ahead of them, then
Yeah.
they can definitely peg something out of it, but taking 3 games against them is going to be a task.
It seems very unlikely. I mean, yeah, going back to the fact that you said they're nearly Grand Champ of Relevant Esports, correct?
Yeah, 1450.
Yeah, I mean, the pace that they'll be playing at compared to Luxor Esports. Hopefully, Relevant Esports have the momentum and the communication, otherwise that might result in potentially a game for Luxor Esports. But again, I highly doubt that Luxor Esports will win their first game. Their first game in total. So for that, possibly give them a 3-1, but it seems very unlikely. Maybe a 3-0 to
Yeah.
Irrelevant East.
Definitely agree with that. So next up, Shadow Stalkers versus Iridium here, and we've got Shadow Stalkers. You know, there's not as big a gap here between the two. Shadow Stalkers last season had their moments. They had games where they were really dominant, and games where they didn't look so good. And they've had tons of player changes, you know, roster rotations around in the past season and just through, but I feel like they're still going to take it. It's going to be maybe a 3-2 to them, though. You know, I feel like Iridium can definitely do something against them if they work the playstyle out, because they can be countered quite easily from my own personal experience if you manage to work out what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I have, given the chance, I've managed to play against Shadow Stalkers. They were quite a strong team, and their communication's extremely good. Like their passing plays as well. So Iridium being second seed from the bottom proves a big challenge for Iridium, especially with everything that I know about Shadow Stalkers, how well they play. I mean, I'm gonna have to go for this one, 3-1 to Shadow Stalkers.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's very difficult to. It's hard. It's annoying to keep reiterating this, but obviously it's very difficult to guess how the first week's going to go out when we know nothing about some of the teams. But moving on, we have Synergy White and Events Esports. Ooh.
So for me, Events definitely showed themselves within the playoffs, especially. You know, they went through flying, and they definitely looked like they were going to be strong contenders in Division 1 if it stuck how it did with the same teams. And from my own personal experience of playing against them, they're so good together. They've played together for ages, and they just have the teamwork which they need to beat Synergy White, I feel.
Ooh.
And I know it's a risky move, but I feel like they could take it 3-2. It's going to be close.
Yeah, this game will definitely be proven a task for both teams. I mean, what was the MMR of Synergy White? Did you?
I've got it down as 1407 average.
Ooh, so and Events.
1330.
So yeah, that's like a just under 100 MMR difference. But again, it's difficult for me because playing against, well, seeing events play, they've definitely shown everyone how good they are. And Synergy White, they may have played, or they have played before. I've not seen them play though, so for that, I'm gonna go for a 3-2, like you said, to events, because events esports definitely have the capabilities to potentially get top 4 in this division.
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like they could be contenders. You know, we've got a higher standard Division 1 than we did last season, though. So it's going to be different to what I predicted before the new teams came in the way that they would finish. But they definitely are looking good so far, and, well, from last season, should I say.
Yeah, indeed. Finally, for this division, we have the Flying Rockets and Cataclysm Esport.
Yeah, and 2 very close teams again. And
yeah, the MMRs being
I
else,
just lost it. Oh no. I don't know what just happened. Oh no.
I'm guessing it'll be something around 13, 17.
Yeah.
And 4 or something, because Synergy White being in the 1400s and events being 1330, like you said. So again, it'll be extremely close. Not knowing much about both teams, I mean, I can't really give a strong answer to this. I think I'm gonna have to go for a 3-2 to Cataclysm.
Okay.
Just a pure guess.
Yeah, I've got it up now. So the Flying Rockets have a 1373 average, Cataclysm 1342, according to what I've got here. So, you know, it may be that Flying Rockets come out on top, but just quite. It's going to be a close match.
Indeed.
What I feel.
So what do you think the actual score will be? Like the in-game?
3-2 to the Flying Rockets.
Okay. So, again, we both think that'll be a very close game.
Yeah.
Depending on how well the teams perform.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we've got a video prepared just to kind of show you in before we go on to Division 2 or 3, if that's okay with you, Wolf. We can get that up to break it up a little bit. I hope it's going to work for you. I've just got it up. I'm not sure if it's going to work, and no, my luck, it won't for a bit. If it doesn't, we'll just continue on, I guess. Yeah, okay. We'll just show you this interview video with a lot of people in to give you a bit more of an insight about what this league's about.
I've never gone on our Discord and not seen people active. There's always people talking on there with each other.
A European league for people to join in and bring their friends along and play in a really fun yet competitive event.
I feel like that's what it's about for me. The fact that everybody has a laugh at the same time as playing competitively against each other.
I wouldn't think it was like as professional as it actually was.
The European Community Championship's almost a unique tournament league full of very good people and very good community, should I say, of people who are kind of chill with each other. It's almost it's competitive, but not really too serious, as in people have a laugh with each other, and I feel like that's what it's about for me.
The ECC, it's a multi-divisional European Rocket League, but you also get with that the community side of things. If you're a low diamond or high platinum, or if you're a high level grand champ, there'll be a division that fits for you. So as a player, really nice competitive gameplay.
I feel the ECC is quite a unique tournament, and I feel like because there's not many other tournaments like this, that's what attracts so many people. And we've seen in the first season there's been lots of teams become interested in it.
I would say it definitely fills in what I feel like we were missing from just playing Rocket League as we usually did. We came into the season as the underdogs. We definitely performed better than I think anyone expected at the beginning of the season.
I feel like from the production level of it, it seemed a lot more. It was a massive boost to what I've seen before, and that's a brilliant thing. Even all the sort of structure of the league, how all the teams were playing each other, even at the staff, the moderator levels, all the staff knew what they were doing in the Discord, and the ownership and sort of the advertising and marketing was so strong, and it was really good.
When it came towards the end of the season with the promotion and relegation and the playoffs, it got a lot more people watching the streams and drew a lot of attention to us.
The highlight of the season was, it's definitely the playoffs. Overall, the playoffs was just unbelievable. I think when we started hitting 40 viewers and above, even when RLCS was on, that was a huge milestone for us.
Including a playoff, it was definitely the 7-game series against Shadowstalkers.
Wolfsburger Power, can they get goal now? They might have to if they're going to have a chance. Celsius, one back, 6 seconds. Can they equalise it up though?
Very well done from Celsius. Again, Burger Power and Celsius getting this.
I kind of messed that up. I just changed that over accidentally. We'll put that on at the end for you for the ending part, I guess. I was just checking everything was okay with it and accidentally restarted it. But yeah, so that was a part of it which we had.
Yeah, it was a sneak peek. It was all planned.
Yeah.
We'll move on. This is going.
Division 2, let's get this up. So, seeding wise, we've got E-Nightmare, Irrelevance Black, Igneous Esports Academy, Godalians, Almini, Erub, Ascension, and Winner's Mentality. What are your kind of predictions for how it's going to pan out?
Just again, I always have to go off the teams that I know. E-Nightmare, Almini, Winners, and Igneous Esports. I've currently got E-Nightmare first because they just lost and got them. I think they have to get back up. Then I've got Godalians, Igneous Esports, and then Almini. Again, I think this will be a very close to. Then I've got Erub, Irrelevant Black, Winner's Mentality, and then although they didn't do all that great last season, they have definitely for opponents. So hopefully that potentially gives them a kick and helps them in this division. So that's where I've got currently.
Okay. E-Nightmare getting relegated from Division 1 as well. You'd expect them to be likely candidates to win it because they've had practice in the high division against higher opposition. but you got new teams like Relevance Black, Guardians, and Arab coming in, and you never
Yeah.
know what they have to offer. I've seen a lot of good Guardians because I'm in one of their teams as well, so I kind of know how it's going to work out for them. You know, they have quite a strong team together, and they could push for it, even though they're not the highest in MMR wise.
Yeah.
Igneous definitely looking very good last season as well. They could be contending with E-Nightmare. And who were Winners Mentality formerly known as? I can't remember.
No, Lega Axe.
Oh yeah, okay, Legax.
We don't have to pronounce that any incorrect anymore.
Yeah.
So that's good. If we somehow pronounce Winners or Mentality wrong, then we'll have
A problem going.
inappropriate comments towards us. But yeah, them promoting from last season definitely was interesting because they weren't first. Snakebite was, and they just beat Snakebite when they really needed to.
Yeah.
And
And
got them up in Division 2.
yeah. And for me,
Yeah.
Snakebite were definitely looking strong contenders in league play. And then when it came to the playoffs, they just didn't have it. You know, you could tell they weren't playing the same way they did. And that, you know, they could have probably done a bit better in the playoffs to get promoted. But well played to Winners Mentality for snatching that on Legax back then. But they are lowest seed by quite a while in Div 2 here. And they're going to have to take something to make it out of the relegation spots.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then Ascension had a poorish season last season as well. I think they came second to bottom. We'll
Yeah,
just
they
double
did.
check that.
They did because
Yeah,
Glacier Zion at the time had dissolved.
so that kept them up above them. So I feel like it could be a tough season for Ascension as well, with teams much higher than both of them and Winners Mentality. You know, between Winners Mentality and third bottom, there's a whole 130 MMR difference, which
Ooh.
is pretty much a whole rank and a half, which
Yeah,
is pretty
I mean, that's
terrifying for that.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't really think MMR takes that much of a place in the league. If you look back at this, I mean, Team Fat in Division 3, we'll get on to, were one of the lowest seeds. I think they were bottom seed. And everyone just wanted the underdog story with them, which thankfully came true because they managed to get top 4, which is extremely impressive, especially for someone that was quote unquote bottom seed. So definitely, I think MMR does take some form of place in how games will go, but not as much as how the players actually perform individually.
Yeah, and on that note, do you want to try and move on to the fixtures and your predictions for those?
Yeah. Week 1 for Division 2 seems. I mean, it looks very tough for obviously the first 2 games look very tough for bottom seeds because E-Nightmare versus Winners Mentality. And that's going to be a very tough game for them.
Yeah,
E-Nightmare being Division 1 last season definitely puts a lot of pressure on Winners Mentality to win.
yeah.
So for that, I want to say a 3-0 to E-Nightmare. But
Okay.
again, nothing can be guaranteed.
Yeah, and you know, we were saying about MMR and how it doesn't make difference, but when there's 230 in between the 2 teams, you know, it's definitely going to come into play. Like nearly 3 ranks in between them. That's like the difference between Champ 1 and Grand Champ almost. In between
Yeah.
them, and it seems like E-Nightmare are going to take the clean sweep.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. It definitely does look like it.
So next up, Relevance Black Ascension. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, looking at Relevance Black, they're second seed. And so just off of that, Ascension, I don't think they're going to perform well. I mean, obviously they didn't have the best of seasons last season, and going into this one, it looks like they're going to be even stronger opponents. So for that, I'm going to go for 3-1 to a Relevance Black.
Okay. Checking this. Ascension only took took 4 games overall. So that's their win plus 1 extra in their losses, which kind of proves whenever they lose, they lost by a clean sweep each time, really. From last season, as you're saying, it's harder this season, and when they're playing top of the league, they've got to pull out something special at all to really have a chance of getting a game from them if it continues how they played last season. So I kind of feel like it's going to be a 3-0 again, in that, not being too harsh on them, but it just didn't work out as well as they'd wished last season. They've got a strong group of players, they play together enough, so it could all change. But from what I've seen before, it's a bit risky to give them a game or two in a match against a top seed, really, or second top seed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very difficult for every team in every division. Going into the next game, though, Igneous Esports Academy against Arab. Ooh, this is third in the MMR sheet, and then second to bottom.
Third.
Yeah. Third from bottom, yeah. Don't know. So this is going to be a very interesting game, in my opinion. Igneous played very well, but they kind of slack. Although they did very well, I'm gonna get booed for this. They didn't perform as well as I hoped. But I say last season they played well, just not as well enough to potentially put them into Division 1, which was unfortunate for them. But not knowing much about Arab, gonna have to go for a 3-2. I'm just gonna assume it's close. But again, I can't guarantee anything, especially with not knowing any much about Arab.
Yeah. As you said, Igneous, they had their moments, but it wasn't as good as we thought. They finished 4th, and I think they may have been nearly top seed, mightn't they, coming into the season? Or high up there, at least.
They were one of the top ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were 3rd.
Okay.
Going off the top of my head.
So it wasn't that bad, but they slipped through on game difference into the playoffs. If they didn't get those last-ditch games from the losses which they did lose, then they would have been out of the playoffs and into the holding spot where Team Insert Name actually ended up being. And
yeah,
you look above them, Almani, aren't the strongest of opponents. They probably should have finished above them in the end. Almani definitely deserved to go through, but from performances in the end, Igneous seemed more likely to get through on top of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 3-2 to Igneous still. I still kind of believe that they can come out strong and prove themselves in Division 2 this season.
Yeah. Finally, though, we have Godalians and Almani. Ooh, I don't know what much for this game. Connor being a part of Connor last season from Almani played outstandingly well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember what rank he is currently. But Almani have quite a strong roster now. So just going off of that, I want to say it's a 3-2 or a 3-1 to Almani over Godalians.
Yeah, we talked about Connor, and I think he may be Grand Champ now, actually. But I feel like last season, Almani depended a bit too much on him and allowed him to make solo plays which lost them possession too often. And I think I mentioned it a lot when casting.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you look at the fact that if you rely solely on one player, then and they mess up even once, and you're not prepared, you're definitely gonna suffer.
Yeah, and from that, as I've seen, I'm part of Godalians myself, they play well as a team, and they've been climbing the ranks very quickly, their whole group of players. So they seem to be ones who may be an underdog story within this, but they're not bottom seed, so not fully underdog, but they may finish higher than we expect them to, higher than 4th seed. But I feel like it maybe first game nerves. I'm not sure if that will be a thing for them really, because the league system, it's not as harsh. You've got as much time to really recover as you need up until the end. But I feel like Almani may take it 3-2. I'm gonna say, just because it's the first game. We need to think about how the teams from last season are going to play compared to the new teams coming in. It's just a bit difficult to work out.
Definitely. Shall we move on to Division 3 finally?
Yep, definitely. So we've got Snake. This is seeded again from top to bottom MMR. Snakebite, Prefer Nightlife, which were formerly Primal Nova, I believe.
Indeed, they were.
Three Musketeers, Meteor, Minimum Wage, Team Fat, The Roots, and Redwater Tidal Waves at the bottom. So do you kind of feel like it's going to stick in that kind of way, or there'll be some turnarounds?
I'm not really. I mean, there'll be a few flips, none that I can guarantee. But for what I've got, in my opinion, first I've got Snakebite, then Minimum Wage, shortly after Meteor, then Team Fat. Both teams are going to be performing quite well, especially for being like one of the lower seeds last season. Both being lower seeds last season, sorry. Not knowing much about Minimum Wage, I just put them second, just out of potentially they're an underdog and no one suspects anything from them. Whereas, like last season for Team Fat, they played outstandingly well.
Yeah.
And then I've got Redwater Tidal Waves, then Prefer Nightlife, shortly after The Roots, and then finally Three Musketeers. I mean, Three Musketeers didn't play, in my opinion, all that well last season. Sometimes I think they only played one game, did they not? The rest they had to forfeit because they couldn't get their games ordered in time.
Yeah.
But I believe they have a different roster now, so they'll have more time with more people. With different people, sorry.
Yeah,
So
fair
it should
enough.
be... Go on.
Well, what I was going to say is that Three Musketeers were right at the bottom with minus 13 game difference as well, which I think is the most extreme throughout the league system we had. So I know that kind of accounts for the fact that they had to forfeit lot 3-0, but they can't afford to do this season 100%. They've got to play their games, and with MMR they should be coming third, but I feel like they're going to finish more 5th or 6th. They didn't have much practice last season within this system. But for me, I'm going to go Snakebite. I think then Minimum Wage, Team Fat, Three Musketeers, then Meteor, The Roots, Redwater.
Okay. Swiftly moving on from that. Week 1 we should start with. 2 games already planned, which will be very interesting.
Let's get this up here. Prefer Nightlife versus Three Musketeers to start stuff off here.
I'm just going to give the time straight away because people can tune in at that time as well. It'll be November the 1st, 6 p.m. I believe, CET.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a game to watch. I mean, Prefer Nightlife being second in the table, and then Three Musketeers not being so prominent. It should be very interesting to watch. I'm gonna put a score line of 3-0 to Prefer Nightlife.
Okay.
Not seeing much of Three Musketeers, although they were there last season. Kind of difficult to judge. I mean, they played, if I'm correct, they played one game, which was very unfortunate for the now winners mentality. Three Musketeers, in fact, won. So that was very unfortunate, seeing as they won against second place in the division. But potentially a 3-1 for Prefer Nightlife.
Okay.
But again, I think win quite easily, quite comfortably. Sorry.
Yeah, and last season I was just looking back. They lost to Meteor actually in quite a shock result. in the end. And overall, their losses seem to be against teams you wouldn't expect, apart from Lucian, who they lost 3-0 to. You know, that is really expected, but they seem to perform well against the higher seeded teams, which I think, you know, if Three Musketeers play their game, then they have a chance, but I still think Prefer Nightlife can take it 3-1.
Okay. Swiftly moving on. Snakebite and Redwater Tidal Waves. This game will be played on November the 4th at 7 p.m. CET. What are your predictions of this?
So it's really what I feel is top v bottom here, and
Yeah.
Redwater are far at the bottom at the moment. You know, in terms of MMR, we keep having to go back to this because it's what we have to base off of at the moment, but there's 200 difference really, which is a huge amount for Division 3 compared to last season. I think Snakebite, it's hard because Snakebite ended the season with a defeat, which I didn't really expect. You know, they had a few whiffs in between, and
They were top
yeah,
with it, top seed, and top place at the end of the season. So
yeah, I mean, as it's league play, and we can kind of discount the fact it's playoffs, they did lose in. I feel like they're going to win 3-0, but there's definitely something to come from Redwater Tidal Waves, and they may prove to be a shock winner here. Definitely, if they play their game.
ooh, okay. So what are you saying? A 3-2 or 3-1?
Well, it said 3-0 originally, but going back actually, from what I said, you know, my thinking is if a team figures out Snakebite, they can beat them. So it depends on the mentality they have, but 3-1, I'm gonna say.
Okay. For this, I'm gonna have to wait. Was that 3-1 to Tidal Waves?
Snakebite.
Oh, okay. I was gonna go along the same lines, really. I mean, playing for having the opportunity to play for Snakebite kind of allows me to know the roster being put up first, which is quite a strong one to begin with. So, again, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 to Snakebite. But moving on from that, Team Fat versus the Roots. Two teams that we had last season. Both, I mean, I didn't watch much of the Roots. I don't think I got to cast much of it for them, or I just can't remember.
Yeah.
Season. But Team Fat being fourth by the end of the season last season proved that they're a very strong team. Just didn't get shown the proper respect, seeing as they were seeded one of the lowest. So for this, especially, I believe they did beat the Roots last season.
Just trying to get that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they did or not. Now thinking back on it, maybe it was a close game. But for this season, I'm gonna go for 3-2 Team Fat.
Okay. From last season actually, it was Team Fat 0, the Roots 3. I'm not sure if that's a forfeit. I don't think it was actually, but
I don't think it was. It may have been one of their games, was it not?
it was the third week in, and you know, Team Fat definitely had a slow start, but it was a rocky ride really for them. You know, they had their moments, and that's really why they came fourth. They had games which they won easily, games which they lost, which they shouldn't have done, and the Roots have had players come in and out like a couple. You know, as a sub, they just didn't have a fully holding squad
through the roster.
So I think through improvement of Team Fat, they're going to take it 3-2 as well.
Okay. Do you want to give your first opinion on the final game being Meteor versus Minimum Wage?
Yep. Meteor last season were huge underdogs, really, and when they beat Primal Nova back then, Prefer Nightlife this season, it really shocked me, especially, you know, but at the start, it was one of my favourite games of the season, you know, in the first 3 weeks. I found that was kind of really exciting, the way that Meteor played within that, and they've improved their seed very well to this season, so they've improved as a team. I think they just missed out last season on the playoffs, if I am right here. They may have come.
Yeah, it was
Fifth.
between Team Fat and Meteor.
Yeah,
If Team Fat had lost their game, Meteor would have gone through.
yeah, and it
If I-
was tied fully on game difference as well, which means Team Fat beat Meteor in their game, so therefore they came fourth in the head-to-head.
Yeah.
So I feel like Meteor might take this, and I feel like they should, because they have proven at times. But it's a lot like Team Fat. They have their games and they have their off days, and it just depends what happens here.
Okay. I mean, so what was your score again? Sorry, I missed that.
I didn't actually say, but 3-1 to Meteor.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on that. It'll be very close. After that little mess up, we'll quickly go back to the video
Okay. Do you wanna?
if you want to sort that.
Shall we
Pardon?
Shall we discuss the special event which is going to happen and then end it off with the video? I was thinking.
You
And
mean the
just as
thing
a-
that should be at the very end after
Yeah.
the welcome to?
Yeah.
We'll do the video first,
Okay.
and then we'll go into Jez with his introduction.
I think he may have done that at the beginning. I don't know if he wants to say anything else added on.
He might want to.
I'll just check. Yeah, we'll
Okay,
go
okay.
into the video though and just get everything sorted from here on in. See you all a second after. Hopefully the full video this time.
Kiss me when you can, and my heart is bleeding red, so I can call you sweet again.
I've never gone on our Discord and not seen people active. There's always people talking on there with each other.
A European league for people to join in and bring their friends along and play in a really fun yet competitive event.
I feel like that's what it's about for me. The fact that everybody has a laugh at the same time as playing competitively against each other.
I wouldn't think it was like as professional as it actually was.
The European Community Championship's almost a unique tournament league full of very good people and a very good community, should I say, of people who are kind of chill with each other. It's almost it's competitive, but not really too serious, as in people have a laugh with each other, and I feel like that's what it's about for me.
The ECC, it's a multi-divisional European Rocket League, but you also get with that the community side of things. If you're a low diamond or high platinum, or if you're a high level grand champ, there'll be a division that fits for you. So as a player, really nice competitive gameplay.
I feel the ECC is quite a unique tournament, and I feel like because there's not many other tournaments like this, that's what attracts so many people. And we've seen in the first season there's been lots of teams become interested in it.
I would say it definitely fills in what I feel like we were missing from just playing Rocket League as we usually did. We came into the season as the underdogs. We definitely performed better than I think anyone expected at the beginning of the season.
I feel like from the production level of it, it seems a lot more. It was a massive boost to what I've seen before, and that's a brilliant thing. Even all the sort of structure of the league, how all the teams were playing each other, even at the staff, the moderator levels, all the staff knew what they were doing in the Discord. And the ownership and sort of the advertising and marketing was so strong, and it was really good.
When it came towards the end of the season with the promotion and relegation and the playoffs, it got a lot more people watching the streams and drew a lot of attention to us.
The highlight of the season was, I mean, it's definitely the playoffs. Overall, the playoffs was just unbelievable. I think when we started hitting 40 viewers and above, even when RLCS was on, that was a huge milestone for us.
Including a playoff, it was definitely the 7-game series against Shadowstalkers.
Towards Burger Power. Can they get goal now? They might have to if they're going to have a chance. Celsius, one back, 6 seconds. Can they equalise it up though?
Very well done from Celsius. Again, Burger Power and Celsius getting this game, this passing play that we hoped for. Hopefully they can get it again in this remaining 6 seconds. Should be very interesting to see.
Yeah, all Shadowstalkers need to do is sit back and not commit too many players forward. The bump on Nimbus, Celsius forward. He has a chance here. Can he knock it down? Not quite. Snacks up. Burger Power with his shot. He's done it. 3-all. 7th game, and it's a tie up here. Unbelievable stuff here.
That game had both me and my team really excited. And we were physically shaking from the stress that the Game 7 put on us. It was really intense.
Okay, thanks everyone for staying tuned. I mean, we have one last announcement to make. For one, I hope you enjoyed that video. But between the days of the 19th of December and the 2nd of January, we will be hosting a mid-season mayhem, which, again, the 3 days will be having 3 different tournaments. The 19th of December, having Snow Day. Drop Shot being on the 26th of December. And finally, Rumble will be on the 2nd of January. We've tried to theme these in around with the times of everything going on, although I don't think you can theme anything much with a Drop Shot. This being winter, we decided to start off with Snow Day. But we'll be, I think we might be potentially doing mod mutators, just to put a quote-unquote fun twist onto it. Some people may not overall get happy with it, but again, this will be just as the season break, due to the fact that it'll be around, so it's around Christmas time, so people will be away or having a holiday. So instead of trying to force people to play their games, then we'll be having these 3 tournaments that people can enter if they are still around. But I don't think I have much else to say. Would you like to round everything off?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to add to what you said and about the mutators. I'm guessing what's going to happen is it may change.
There'll probably be random mutators for every game, so there'll be no guarantee of.
Yeah.
Unless we just scrap the mutators idea in total, but if people potentially want that to happen, then it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a chill kind of tournament in between the season. It's just for everyone to get together and have a bit of fun, away from the competitive side of the league. Yeah, I think we've covered everything overall, actually. We've got all the leagues out of the way, talked about how it's going to be run, how the season's going to work, and then got the interview video out the way with, and mid-season mayhem announcement. So yeah, we've covered everything here. Got anything to say to end it, or
just overall thank you for staying tuned, everyone. This was just to hype everyone up for season 2. Definitely looking forward to everything. Hopefully every team plays outstandingly well. Hopefully everyone plays their games and there's no real issues, but thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone that was in season 1 and that's still here for season 2.
Hmm.
I don't have much else to say.
Nope. But yeah, 112 matches next season. That's going to be terrifying. But I guess overall, good luck everyone participating in season 2, and we'll see you all there.